We are back on the Marching to Madness College Basketball Podcast with Coach Jim Less, the head coach of the UC Davis Aggies. They're 4-2 in the Big West Conference, 11-7 overall. That Big West has five teams within one game of each other in it. The Aggies are a nice offensive team to watch. They average 76.4 points per game, shoot 45.6% from the floor. Coach Les, welcome back.
Glad to be back. Really appreciate you having me on the show. Love talking hoop with you.
Oh yeah, I love talking hoop with you as well. It's good. Now you've got this really solid offensive attack. I was just curious how you designed this and made it something that produces with so much consistency.
Well, the one thing we try and do as a staff each year is, look at our team and individually and collectively try and find ways to put our players in a position to be successful. And they all bring different skill sets to the table. And this year we have athleticism, but then we also have some really good shooters. We have some really good skill guys. We have some bigs who can play in the post, but also bigs who can play out on the floor. So you kind of look at that skill set of all the different players on your team and say, okay, how can we design a system that flows, that allows each of those guys to take advantage of their strengths? And one of the biggest things we're doing is, the pace we play with in our transition game. When we're alive and active defensively and getting first rebounds, we can really come at you in waves in transition with those shooters I talked about. Or if you're going to run and cover shooters, we've got guys that can get to the basket quickly, or guys that in transition can get a quick post up before help can come. And now they're one-on-one 3 or 4 feet from the basket, which we like those odds. And the players have bought into that pace. And kids talk all the time, like, I want to play fast. But until it takes every time running and sprinting the floor, then they're like, oh, do I really want to play that fast? And these guys have bought into that. So I think, we're 27th or something in the country with our pace and transition. And that's something we pride ourselves on.
Sure. Talk about the ability of having four players average double figures like that. Generally, it looks like a huge matchup problem, because if you're breaking it down, you've got to know where you want to go first, where you're going to go second, on and on.
Well, and that's, it's a little bit of the buy-in. First of all, I think our chemistry off the floor is really good. Guys are well connected, and we see that translate to on the floor, where because our guys like each other and get along well, they're willing to share the sugar. And we talk about, hey, we're gonna play fast, so we're getting 75, almost 80 possessions a game, so there's plenty for everybody to eat. And we just want you to make the right basketball play. And sometimes the right basketball play is no pass. We're going to drive it end to end and get that opportunity. Or sometimes it's drive it, kick one pass, and somebody's got a wide open three. Shoot the ball. We don't want them thinking twice about it. But then there's other possessions when teams do get back, where it's saying, okay, if they're taking away those first options and now we want ball movement and player movement. We talk about playing fast with the pass, quick decisions. And, what quick decisions results in is you get a multitude of guys out on the floor that are playing aggressive. They're in attack mode. And the result is 4 guys that average in double figures.
Yeah, and Monday evening, you had a 78-70 win over UC San Diego. 20 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists from Elijah Pepper. Very underrated player nationally. 4 in a row for you. Is it's first time this season you've accomplished that many wins in a row?
Yeah, and I think we've gotten into first of all, a nice rhythm and intensity and connectedness on the defensive end. Again, you want to talk about transition and pace, but it's hard to do that when you're taking the ball out of the basket. So getting stops and first rebounds, like we talked about. And then, Elijah is just he's an elite scorer. He's a really good shooter, highly skilled, but he's not just a scorer, which is what makes him so dangerous because he rebounds the ball. So now when he's getting defensive rebounds, he becomes our push guy. And he's adept at handling the ball, and teams have to pay attention to him, but he's a guy that's willing to create and use himself as a decoy sometimes to create for others, which is, the assist numbers that he's able to put up. And he's also a really good offensive rebounder. So some teams they've tried to face guard him and, hey, we're going to take him out of the game. And again, he's a willing screener, but he's also a guy that's, hey, I got to work a little harder. So I'm going to get to the glass and get a few offensive rebounds and putbacks for my team. So just an overall winning mindset. But he can stuff the stat sheet with the best of them in the country.
He is the second leading scorer in the Big West Conference, and he's only like 1/10 of a point behind the leader. It seems he's more of a scorer inside the arc this season.
Yeah, it's interesting because he's a really good shooter. And I think it's a combination of people really have tried to run him off the line. And I think early in the year, he probably took some tougher shots than he would have liked. And now he's, again, good players, good scores, adjust to the way that they're being guarded. So, we've talked to him about, hey, you don't have to force the three ball. You'll get some good ones when the attention goes to some of the other players. But for now, if they're going to continue to guard you tight or run you off the line, his mid-range game is really good. His floater game and finish game around the basket is really good. And again, now he's putting it on the deck, attacking a closeout, and he's able to find his teammates for easy opportunities. So we feel like before the year's out, he's going to get on one of those runs he can get on as a three-point shooter. But for now, if that shot's not going or it's being highly contested, he's finding other ways to help us.
I noticed he has 100 free throw attempts already, which is more than he's had in any season of his career. I was curious, how is the best way to get him to the line, or how does he consistently, get there?
Well, he's got a really good shot fake. Most scorers and shooters have developed a good shot fake, and he plays off his shot. So he'll get a lot of free throw opportunities because the people are running him off the line and they're trying to jump and fly at him and contest hard. He's also a physical player. I mean, he's 6'3", 6'4" and he's built. He spends a lot of time in the weight room. He's a strong guy. So when he goes to the rim, he's in attack mode and he's seeking out contact, and that's put him at the line. And he's a really good free throw shooter. And again, another way to manufacture points when teams are trying to do things to take some of his arsenal away. It's hard to take all of it away.
Sure. And you've got a couple more guys there, Ty Johnson and Christian Anigwe.
Yes.
Both shoot in the 50% range as well.
Yeah. Again, those guys, and it's he goes by TY. But TY is a really explosive athlete. Again, a strong young man who seeks out contact, getting to the basket, and draws a lot of fouls and can finish through contact. And then Christian is that inside outside big that, depending on matchups, we'll put him in the hole, and he can post up and be physical and get us some paint points. And depending on matchups, we can put him out on the floor. And he's comfortable shooting the three. He's comfortable driving it from the perimeter. And so again, just trying to take advantage of those young men who have some unique skill sets and kind of put it together in a system that flows together. And again, I think all those guys are sharing the sugar with each other, which is why the numbers look like they do.
You guys feel like a really physical team, to match up with. So how do opponents try to take away that characteristic?
Well, our rebounding numbers, knock on wood, have been pretty good. And again, it's a product of one, drilling the physical blockouts on the defensive end, but we also have some guys that have a really good knack on the offensive end of watching the flight of the ball and getting to the glass and getting us extra opportunities. So we encourage them to do that. And we want to be disciplined where it doesn't hurt us in our transition defense, but we're sending, multiple guys to the offensive glass. And a lot of times, depending on the matchups, it's guards going to the rim, which and some of the guards aren't always used to checking out. And so that's a little bit of the mentality, physicality that has been successful for us. And we're telling teams, hey, you better check us out because we're coming.
Yeah, there you go. Robbie Beasley is a threat on that perimeter with Elijah as well, and he's tied him. They both have 1.8 made threes per game.
Yeah, Robbie came in as a shooter, was a really good scorer at Montana. Started, he's got 2 years of Division I experience under his belt, and what we've seen this year is again, teams trying to run him off the line and get him from being a shooter to being a driver, penetrator, playmaker, and he's adapted to that really well. He's got a nice floater game. He can get in the paint and make good decisions and dropping the ball off, and he continues to get better playing off the ball screen and making plays. So again, we've got multiple guys where you can't just say it's just going to be these two guys, or they're the only guys that are going to play off of a ball screen. We're going to try and throw different looks and find matchups that we like, and our guys embrace that and really like I think the system that they're playing in, which allows them and I think encourages them to play it even harder.
Thinking about the Big West, we mentioned 5 teams within a game of first place. Talk about a little bit about how it's grown to where what was the middle is now vying for a title.
Well, it's one, it's a basketball league. There's no football, so I think all of the schools are pouring resources into those programs. And the other thing is it's a heck of a coaches league. Really good coaches from top to bottom. There's continuity in terms of they've been at their universities for a number of years, and their teams are well prepared. They're really good recruiters. There's good talent in this league, and what you have is a coach with gray hair because everybody's got a chance to win it, and it stresses you out. There's no nights off in the Big West. That's for sure.
That's for sure. Last thing, Coach, you've got a matchup with UC Riverside on Thursday evening. Discuss that game and some keys we can see in both the offensive and defensive attack.
Well, it's going to be a heavyweight fight. Riverside's playing as well and as hot as anybody in the league, and it starts with their defense. We're really good, sound defensive team, and they force you off the 3-point line and make you take tough twos. And then offensively, they've got an attack where they're going to put a lot of times 4 and 5 guys on the floor that can handle the ball as well as shoot the ball at a high rate. So they really put pressure on your defense and can spread you out. And it's a good passing team. So we're going to need to be aggressive. We're going to need to be able to keep the ball in front of us, because if you get broken down off the dribble, the floor is so spread that now they're going to be shooting step-in threes, and they hit those at a high rate. So our on-ball defense is going to have to be really good, but it's going to be a heck of a heavyweight fight tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to it.
Coach Jim Less, ladies and gentlemen, the UC Davis Aggies. Coach, it's a pleasure having you back on here. I enjoy talking to you, and I wish you the best for the rest of the season.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Take care.